And how did we get here?
Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting! All right, hey, cut them up. Stop!
Earning the hate. People wonder why I say stop backing the blue. They are an out-of-control thug gang with no accountability. Outrageous use of a dog. Earning the hate. Welcome to another episode of Earning the Hate. So I'll finish with the entire body cam, but I want to read what the paper said the officers had to say. You know, the back the blue, the great officers with integrity, honor, who would never lie, who would never do anything wrong because they're police. And we must back the police because they're all good, Rick, and we need them or what? Here we go. Video release, social media crowd screams. Canton Police, and I can't figure out, I think this is Canton, Ohio, but they're not saying, maybe they say it in an article. Release a statement, internal affairs, yeah, they're gonna do an investigation. The mayor said, I take these occurrences very seriously. Really? If anybody took this seriously, cops wouldn't be doing it. The fact that cops are doing it means nobody takes it seriously. We back the blue no matter what they do, and it's outrageous. I understand the community will have questions, and I will assure you that my office will be forthcoming. Nobody's got any question on this. It's very clear in the video. The cops are unaccountable. They abuse their force. They violate civil rights. They never held accountable, and the taxpayers pay out money over and over again. And then you still run around and say, back the blue. Out freaking outrageous. Responding Canton Police Department Friday released a video. According to the officers' reports, members of the Canton Coordinated Response Team, CCRP, you know, through the years, there's all kind of things. You know, when I was working, we used SIU, Special Investigative Unit, High Crimes Task Force, HC, something. There's always these great names, and basically what it is you have cops, because we have too many cops, that you have these special teams, and they just go out and hunt for criminals, which I don't have a problem with. I think they ought to be hunting for criminals, but when they go out and do this, they ought to be going to prison. I just don't get it. Officers who had been in unmarked vehicles said the two occupants of the vehicles tried to start immediately. The driver began to argue. Oh, yeah, that one detective said he spotted an open container. Ooh. So they wanted to search the car, violate the Fourth Amendment. Said they found a loaded handgun on the driver's seat. Great. So what? This all started because the crowd appeared, and before some dumbass cop comes here defending these cops, man, you should shut up. I've been in so many freaking incidents where the crowd turns angry and throws shit and yells and spits and calls us names and whatever. Relax, you freaking pussies. Arrest the bad guy and move on. People don't like you motherfuckers for this reason. Officers started detaining two arguments. People began to gather on the side of the road. Oh, okay. So now we have unlawful gathering because you can't. If you gather, you may videotape cops being unethical and violating people's rights. So now cops don't want you gathering? Shocking. Ray Charles saw that shit coming. Officers wrote their reports as the crowd began yelling and became combative. You're going to see in a video, nobody became combative at all. One officer wrote several people became aggressive in their motions as they stepped toward me and their verbal responses. This is all cop-splaining bullshit, legal mumbo-jumbo, so a cop can claim, I was in fear of my safety, I'm in fear of my life, I'm all heroes, I should be paid more, people should respect me, I'm always in fear of my life because I'm a pussy. Fucking cops now, I tell you, man, what a fucking disgrace what law enforcement has become. Another officer said he was concerned because the handgun was found and the car had not yet been searched. Oh yeah, that's a big concern, because I want to go yell and argue and get my feelings hurt and play contempt of cop at somebody because they yelled at me and I didn't like what they said. And I don't like free speech, and I don't like free gathering, and I don't like people being to do anything to the police because I'm the police and I should be fucking worshipped. And if you don't fear me, then I'll throw you on the ground with my gang and I'll let my dog chew on you. Perfect. And then I won't be held accountable, and I don't give a fuck, and I'll do it again tomorrow, and I'll do it the next day, and you dumbasses will still be running around saying back to blue the next day. The canine named Scooby Castro talks with bystanders. Scooby's rapid barking drowns out anything the bystanders may have said. Castro tells the man he's under arrest for taunting his dog. So first we have laws that are fucking stupid, that you taunt a cop, or you hurt their feelings, or contempt of cop, or you said something that makes them fearful and it sounded aggressive and combative, so we can arrest you for resisting or obstructing our investigation. So now we have taunting a dog. So if some cop is having a bad day and you go, hey, little puppy dog, hey, you're taunting, you're going to jail, you're under arrest, and nothing will happen, because that's the society we live in, because we run around like idiots saying back the blue. Out freaking rageous. Officer yells, stop resisting, as the dog shakes his head aggressively on here. Okay, all this is just bullshit. Nothing really. Let's get to the video. So here's how it started.
Hey, I'm about to put this guy in custody. Hey, say one more.
I'm about to put this guy. Notice how far this guy is. He's in the street on another call, and these people are in their own yard, on their steps, and they're being the violent ones. They're being the aggressive one. The cop leaves his position of safety and no threat and walks toward the people he says are the threat, and they're being combative. Not only are cops now just beating the shit out of people and letting dogs chew on them, they're literally just lying on their reports, and then they're testifying the next day in court, sending people to prison because they're saying, oh yeah, I'm telling the truth and I'm a cop and you got to back to blue.
More thing to this dog. Tear it up. You're about to go in custody.
This guy steps away from the police. The mob immediately focused, because we can't arrest enough people. We have all these cops here standing around doing nothing. Might as well arrest people. The dog's barking, and now guy puts his hands up. Hey, I'm in my own yard. I'm not doing anything. This is so outrageous, people. One cop, two cops, three cops, and the dog. And you'll see more cops. Ooh, there's a black cop. So whatever they do, it'll be okay, because then they can't cry racism, right? This is not about color, people. This is about out-of-control cops that have no accountability, and idiots run around saying back to blue, and they know idiots will be running around back to blue, so they get more unaccountable, and they get more aggressive, and do more shit, and they know the taxpayers will pay, and they won't. When cops start going to prison for this shit, this'll stop. You want to know why this keeps happening? Because cops don't go to prison for it. Taunting a dog. 3 cops here, 2 more cops here, and the canine. Remember, they've got a car where they found a gun and they wrote in the reports that they're nervous because the gun hasn't been searched. This cop's got his hands in his pockets. He looks pretty nervous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cops on these people standing in their yard because they yelled at the police and they got their feelings hurt.
Done.
3 cops arresting 1 guy. This guy isn't fighting. They want him to fight. Canine pussy boy runs up here because he wants to use his fucking dog because he thinks he's a badass. This guy is standing here. Look at the suspect's aggressive behavior. You notice his knee is bent, and he probably was about to knee the officer, and the officer felt in fear of his life. And he put his hands behind his back very aggressively, and he had resistive tension in his arms, and the officers felt that. And they knew they needed to take him to the ground because obviously he's a no person, right? So they pick his feet. This guy's doing nothing. 2 cops have his hands behind his back. And the black officer, I might add, picks up his feet and they throw him to the ground. Now his hands come forward here and they're going to say, you can tell he reached for my gun. He's trying to prevent himself from falling, people. His hands were behind his back till they picked his freaking legs up and threw him on the ground. No, Rick, you just hate cops and you're making it worse for cops out there because not all cops are... Shut up. As soon as I saw the collar on his dog, I knew this cop was a pussy. Anybody that uses a spike collar on their dog have no control of their dog. They want people to think they're a badass, so they use these big spikes, and then they tell people, yeah, my dog is so strong and aggressive, and he's so hard to handle that I need these spikes, otherwise he won't listen to me. He won't listen to you because you're a fucking pussy and a dumbass. and I trained fucking dogs in the military for 20 fucking years. So fuck you little cops that come here and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. 2 cops hold him on the ground. His hands are behind his back. Another cop comes over. Another cop comes over. But remember, in the report, they're really nervous that the car hasn't been searched. And they felt their officer's safety was being jeopardized. So they had to come over and stir up more shit. So the dog guy, back up so he can use his dog. They get up. The guy is on the ground with his hands behind his back. Notice the suspect's resistive behavior. His hands are behind his back, which he could immediately pull forward and possibly produce a weapon that the officers haven't found yet. And due to their safety and fear, they had to run away so the dog could come in and chew on this guy on the ground. Absolutely outrageous.
Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
Stop resisting. Really?
Stop resisting!
Really? Stop resisting. This is totally planned. This cop pulls the other cops away from the guy. Who are these cops afraid of? This guy or the out-of-control cop with the dog? And all these cops are going to back up this cop. Oh, yeah, the dog was needed because the guy was resisting and he could have got our gun. And we had a bunch of people behind us. We had 2 cops guarding the people. This is so easily a criminal case for abuse of power and excessive use of force. And you know what? The DA ain't going to charge them. They're not going to get sued because they're protected. And the taxpayer's going to pay this guy money. The ghetto lottery is what they call it.
Stop resisting! Stop resisting! All right, hey, couple up. Stop resisting!
Stop resisting. The guy never moves his hand. I thought the guy was handcuffed because he didn't even defend himself. Because he knew if he did, they would bite him and kick him and more. No, Rick, the police are professional and we should back them, and they would never do that. And we have the most professional police force and we need to back them, and their job's hard, and you don't... Shut up. Freaking idiots.
Pop him up. Yep. Go ahead.
This guy needs to go to prison. And all these officers should be fired and charged also for conspiring with this guy and assisting him and freaking letting this guy get... I mean, remember, people, cops are killing dogs little chihuahuas, little bitty baby labs. They are shooting and killing them because they said they're in fear of his life. Yet you as a citizen can have a trained attack dog. After 3 cops throw you on the ground, put the trained attack dog on you, and you can't defend yourself, and you can't claim you're in any fear. I'm telling you, man, I keep saying it's getting worse and worse, and people are like, oh, Rick, it's not that bad, and cops have been doing, these are isolated incidents. People, our cops are going to kill you, and when they do, I'm going to say, I told you so, you freaking back the blue idiots. Notice the guy fighting and resisting after he was chewed. Notice how the officer had to straddle the person because he was afraid that the guy would somehow use his jiu-jitsu training that they didn't know about, that he could have received when he was a kindergarten, and he could have took over. So the officers who had 6 or 7 other officers there to back up needed to use this aggressive attack dog on. Just fucking outrageous. Look at all the cops. Yeah, they're really scared. Gee, I wonder why the neighborhood comes out and gets upset with cops. You know what? These cops are standing around way too fucking comfortable. You go to the Crest in Vallejo and you pull this shit, you better be ready to fucking run or call in fucking all units. Because your ass, these cops are fucking pussies. But let me tell you something. These cops' attitudes are, this is how you make the public fear you. If the public doesn't fear us, they're not going to respect us, and they're going to be worse. So we have to show them that it's our neighborhood, it's our streets, and you fucking people better bow down to us, or this is what you'll get. Outrageous. This is all over a traffic stop on 2 guys or 3 guys in a car that they arrest for having a gun Great. And it turns into this. I wonder why. I wonder why. Rick, what about the people? They shouldn't be coming out. Why shouldn't they come out? Why can't they watch the police abuse? Why can't they video the police? Well, Rick, they should trust the police because they're good and we should... You're a fucking idiot. Notice this guy fighting and resisting. He's been dog bit. He's been dogpiled. He's been picked up and thrown in the bushes on the ground because the officer said he yelled at his dog. This is what you get. Okay, people. Back to blue till it happens to you. Earning the hate. One of the many on the playlist, Earning the Hate. See ya.